Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on today. We have an exceptional Bethune DBSR in rose gold. Reach out to me, Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details on this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Again, my email address for pricing questions is tmosso at thewatchbox.com. So the DBSR, originally launched back in 2005, was a progression from the original DB1 case shape for Bethune. In these early days, they progressed from a rather classical-looking case, a round case with extended lug cabochon, to what you see here, effectively a tribute to vintage pendant watches. So the timepiece is not as big as it looks. It's actually fairly compact. 42.7 millimeters across in rose gold. It's not really a diameter thing because the watch isn't circular. It's only 11.1 millimeters thick, which stood out and surprised me because this is a broad, flat watch. And then it's 46 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and you can see the lugs are not symmetrical. You have that original ogival or cabochon torpedo-like shape from the original DB1 and subsequent models. And then on the other side, you have the company's first foray into the world of articulated lugs that would later hit its peak with the floating lugs. But you have a lot of flexibility from side to side. So this watch, though over 42 millimeters, can pull around a small wrist and hold it quite tightly. The timepiece wears compact for a 42.7. As you can see, my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference wears it well. It is very low and flat, so it will slide underneath the dress cuff. And you can see it's short across the wrist as well. That's probably best displayed from this down the barrel shot, where you can see the edges of the case absolutely nowhere near the edge of my wrist. So wear this on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and I rarely say that of a watch over 42 millimeters. As you can see, the two lug junctions are quite different, as here we have a relatively close drilled set of lugs with a curved spring bar, so the strap has no impediment to its motion. And then we have this somewhat pendant-like hinged lug setup that is fixed by screws and plates to the strap. On both sides of the strap, large rectangular scale alligator leather matte finish. It's rolled on its side, and you can see it's rolled down to a sort of split seam, so it's rolled and then sheer, showing you the layers of the leather with a monotone black stitch, and then on the underside, calfskin. And as you can see, the watch features a matching Bethune rose gold pin buckle. It has a little sort of torpedo-shaped profile, reminding you of those original bullet cap lugs. And then from the top, you can see very simple, elegant, graceful, and easy to adjust. You will note that the watch features a seamless monoblock case, as the bezel and the case itself are one piece. Everything loads in through the back, and you can see the reverse side features circular engine turning, polished peripherals, and then there is a power reserve indicator showing part of the mechanism and the underlying spring, and then all of this right here represents a 6-day manual wind power reserve. The crown itself is quite ornate. It is a bullhead winder like a pendant watch would be. It has a sort of drilled knurling on its face, and then on its outer profile, a coining with polished end cap, and the whole thing is rather elaborate for such a simple component, but it speaks to the attention to the detail here. Now, everything else is of high polish, and as we move to the dial, you can see several different finishes. Let me remove my surly fingerprints. The watch first has a sort of Côte de Genève down at its base, flanking a spherical moon phase. One half is blued steel, one half is white palladium, and it has an adjustment interval of over 100 years, so set it with the pusher on the side of the case, and then you can largely forget it. The process for bluing titanium for the hands as well as the hour indices, that is patented by Bethune. They actually found a way to do this. Normally when you oxidize titanium, it turns white. So turning it blue is a proprietary process protected by patent. You can also see that the hour track itself is on a sort of toroidal media blasted base. There are little drillings where the cabochon are sunken in, and then you can see that this is a little bit of a rolled or cambered circular base that's been media blasted to give it a little warm shimmering rather than brightly glowing profile. Now, if you want something that's brightly glaring and glowing, you want the center of the dial, where there is a steel cap over the barrel bridge, and that's been entirely black polished with strakes engraved in to resemble the Côte de Bethune, which you could see again flanking the moon phase, and then also the barrel bridge. The barrel bridge is two pieces put together. They reverse the milling wheel that creates these Côte de Bethune, and so you can see the darker gradient is facing outboard on both sides. That's why they appear to mirror each other rather than being symmetrical all the way across. Now you can see that there is traditional finish here. You have the Côte de Bethune, you have black polished screws with chamfered slots and chamfered circumference. If you look on the sides of the bridges, you can see that classical rounded mirrored anglage has been applied at center as well as the flank, and then the entire balance bridge has been specular, finished, or mirror polished. There's also a frosted media blasting on the base plate, and you can see that the wheels, including the ratchet wheels and the barrels, have been satinated. The watch features a triple parachute shock protection system. You can see the steel springs on each side. The springs mount to the outside of the balance bridge, and then there's ink block on the center. This does make the watch more shock tolerant, but the real purpose of it is to more rapidly recenter the balance staff so that the watch will be an outstanding timekeeper. It's not so much to make this a sports watch as it is to rapidly recenter the balance staff so the watch will return to keeping good time after a shock. The timepiece includes a proprietary hairspring that's actually two pieces clamped together. You can see it's got a bit of an outer dogleg curve. The idea here is to have the flat profile of a flat hairspring, but also the concentric breathing qualities, that is equal timekeeping in any position, that you get with an overcoil. De Bethune has patented over 8 different balances under watchmaker and Chief Operating Officer Denis Flageolet. He's created this particular design back in the 2000s using a yoke-type balance. It's not a wheel, it's a yoke. It's all blued titanium, and then the platinum masses are out at the edge to move the mass as far out as possible, increase the polar moment, reduce the reaction to hot and cold so that won't really alter timing, and then better shake off bumps or concussions. It's a high beat rate, 28.8, so a low beat rate is not necessary to achieve the incredible 6-day power reserve here. It has a modern high beat rate. And the watch, of course, is beautifully executed both front, back, and side to side. From a company that only makes 150 watches a year and has only made about 2,900 watches since its inception in 2002, my personal favorite brand, this watch, a great example of a transitional design from De Bethune between their original work and what they're building today. 30 meters water resistant, so it's not a sports watch, but then again, if you go swimming with this watch, I don't think we can be friends. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for additional purchase and pricing details.